Once, in a quiet village nestled on the edge of the Roman Empire, there was a young man named Marcus. He was a soldier, born into a family of warriors, and from an early age he was trained to fight for honor and glory. But as he grew older, something stirred in his heart, a longing for something deeper, something more meaningful than the endless battles and fleeting triumphs of his life. One evening, after a particularly grueling campaign, Marcus sat alone under the starlit sky. His armor, battered from the day's battles, lay beside him. The sounds of the camp around him faded as he pondered his life. He had fought in many wars, won many victories, yet something remained empty within him. He had heard rumors of a new way of life, a new faith that was spreading throughout the empire, centered around a man named Jesus. Intrigued by these whispers, Marcus decided to seek out this path of peace and truth. The next day, he met a Christian merchant named Lucius, who shared with him the teachings of Jesus. Lucius spoke of a living sacrifice, of giving oneself fully to God, not in the way of war or violence, but in service, love, and selflessness. He recited the words of the Apostle Paul from Romans 12, 1, 2. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Marcus felt a deep stirring in his soul. He had always known of sacrifice, but this was different. This was not about laying down one's life for a fleeting cause, but about offering one's life every day to God as a living sacrifice. It was a call to offer everything: his thoughts, his actions, his very body as an act of worship. Over time, Marcus began to understand what it truly meant to be transformed by the renewing of his mind. The ways of the world, pride, power, and the thirst for glory no longer held sway over him. Instead, he found peace in humility and love, serving others without seeking reward, and living in a way that honored God. He started each day with a prayer, asking God to guide his steps and renew his heart. His training as a soldier, once a source of pride, became a tool for serving others. His strength was no longer used to conquer or oppress, but to protect and defend the weak. He learned that true power came not from domination, but from gentleness and self-control. As Marcus continued on his journey, the transformation was evident. His companions, once skeptical of his faith, began to notice a change in him. They saw a man who no longer sought glory in battle, but found glory in serving others. His body, once a tool for war, had become a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. His actions reflected the love and grace of the one he had given his life to.